This is Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior, and you're fanging and banging with Monty and the Pharaoh.
Injured is to grow up and be a man. Come on.
All right, welcome to another special edition of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty and the Pharaoh, usually seen on Thursdays from 8:05 to 9 p.m. But we have a special guest in-house, and so we're going to do a little Saturday special. But first, let me introduce the star of the show. To my right is none other than Jimmy Pharaoh.
Good afternoon.
And then actually the star of the program, none other than Hall of Famer Scott Hall. Scott Hall, thank you for joining us.
Hey, yo.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so here's how it works. Pharaoh's just going to give you a little bit of a pop, and then we'll start hitting you with questions, and let's see what we can have some fun together.
Well, I'll make it quick and brief. To be obvious here, we have the great Razor Ramon, a.k.a. Scott Hall, former AWA World Tag Team Champion, former United States Heavyweight Champion, former multiple-time Intercontinental Champion, of course, WWE Hall of Famer, and as far as I'm concerned, took part in one of the greatest matches ever, the ladder match at WrestleMania 10. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the great Scott Hall.
All right, baby. All right.
Thank you.
So, Scott, where were you coming from today?
I was just at Legends of the Ring in Monroe, New Jersey.
Monroe, New Jersey.
Yeah.
How do we find Monroe, New Jersey?
Bro, don't bother. No, it's a nothing happening little town. There's nothing near it. It's an old beat-up Ramada that they don't take care of. And I'm amazed that the fans tolerate those kind of conditions and they still turn out. God bless them.
And they did turn out.
They did. It was a great turnout, you know. And, I mean, but to me, you got to treat the fans better.
Yeah. Well, you come to the Northeast often. Do you enjoy coming to the Northeast? You're at home in Atlanta.
I try to be smart about it, and you can't keep I won't be back at that place. You can't just keep coming to the same place. Although I got to admit, I'm so grateful and humbled by it. People will come up to you and have you sign the photo that you took with them last time.
Sure.
Like some of the fans up in this part of the country are educated and they're loyal, and people come to me and go, man, I really liked all that stuff you did on TV. And I go, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I'm just doing it on purpose.
Well, it's clear that your career has influenced many people. And a lot of people grew up watching you, and you made a difference in their life, right?
Well, that's the cool part now. I'll never forget one time when I was underneath guy in WCW. And, I think I was Gator Scott Hall or something they gave me. And I think I had my hair blonde. And I was walking through the airport behind Ric Flair. And this is late 80s, early 90s, and a grown man, like an army guy, a young GI, came up to him and went, holy cow, Ric Flair, man, I grew up watching you. And Ric's, gracious, takes a picture with the guy, signs autograph. And I'm walking behind Flair. I said, Flair, that's a grown man. I said, you know what that means? It means you're old. now, I got grown men coming to me going, God bless you, thank you very much.
Right. Sure.
I tell you what, I was just with Rick in Liverpool, and bro, his line was huge. They did a big con in Liverpool, really well run, well done, and I remember when I broke in 1984, Ric Flair was the man. It's 2019. Ric Flair is still the man.
Look at that.
He's still the man.
Look at that.
Any thoughts on his current, battle with health?
I saw him in Liverpool, and he looked great. Because I saw him prior to that, like at Raw 25 and stuff like that, and he looked thin, and he's got all these custom-made suits, and they were kind of hanging on.
Here's the obvious.
The thing is, he looked great in Liverpool.
Does he still party or what?
He is back to partying a little bit now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't believe the shape you're in.
It's none of my business, but I'm going to ask him. Tell you the truth.
No, I'm just curious.
I think he just drinks beer now. It's like how he...
Just quite a bit of it. Perhaps not.
Hey, I'm the last one to judge anybody on their habits.
What are you doing to keep yourself in shape like this? How old are you right now?
I'm 60.
60.
Well, he
Yeah,
won't
he's
drink
still
regular Coke. We just found that out. It's part of his diet.
In the words of Mickey Mantle, if I'd have known I was going to live this long,
Yeah, I knew that
I'd
was
taken
coming.
better care of myself.
Right?
Do you
I
think?
mean, when I heard the Mick say that, I went, he's so cool. Like, people even gave him a liver, and they knew he was going to drink it to death. But it's Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Give him a liver.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah. And he gave everyone a heads
Somebody
up on the way out,
donated.
too. Yeah.
So, we've known about your ups and downs throughout your career.
Really? Because I was keeping it a secret.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Those 12 rehab visits and,
Don't tell anybody.
all
So,
that
recently,
public drunkenness.
Ashley Massaro passed away of suicide. Did you know Ashley?
I never met her.
Let me ask you, with your own experiences, have you ever been suicidal? And if you were, what drags you down
I
that
think
road?
everybody who struggles with any kind of addiction, suicide is right there. Like, mental illness is real. It's not people feeling sorry for themselves. And Mauro Ranallo is a big advocate for that. And God bless him, he's real open about it and stuff. But I think because I was raised a Christian and my mom is a devout Catholic, that, to me, if I commit suicide, I'm going to hell. So hell has got to be worse than whatever I'm going through now. So I just try to kick out. I always try to kick out on two. So I've never, to me, you got to be, and I heard she hung herself. Is that
She
true?
hung herself, yeah.
That's really wanting to. Most women, statistically, it's by drug overdose. Like hanging yourself is really wanting to. And I'm always thinking, what if you, it doesn't happen, what if it doesn't happen right away?
Well, that's like someone that might be on the edge, right? Because you hang yourself, it may not actually work, and then you could actually really put yourself in a bad situation. It's not guaranteed death. Let me put it that way.
I don't know, man. I just, and I'm from that era when nearly 40 guys from my era are dead from overdose, some intentional overdose. Because to me, if they find you and the pill bottle's next to you and it's empty, then when they find you and you're OD'd, but there's still pills in the bottle, to me, that's accidental. I mean, if you're going to kill yourself, you don't say, well, I'm going to take 8. You just slam the whole bottle, to me. I've been in some dark places, but never really there, I wanted God to take me. I didn't want heat with God, because I grew up an altar boy, so.
Is it fair to say your religion is still strong now, your faith?
Yeah, I pray before every meal. I pray for every night. I'm always grateful for all the blessings.
Before every podcast?
Well, I try not to do many of those. I don't think I do. I'm the only guy I think who doesn't have a podcast.
Oh, boy, you might
I'll
be
do
right
yours
about
if you do mine.
You might be right about that. You might be right, Rabbit.
I don't know, man.
Well, on a much lighter note, how about pro wrestling? Were you a fan of it growing up?
Yeah, my dad took me and some of my buds. My dad was in the Army, so I grew up Army bases all over. And we lived in Fort Rucker, Alabama. My dad took me to the local indie promotion there with 3 or 4 of my buddies for my 8th birthday. And it was a hair match. Okay. Like at 8 years old, I don't remember the guys, but I still have the program. And I ran to the ring. Like they shaved the guy's head in the ring. And even at 8 years old, some of my buddies are going, this stuff's all fake. I'm going, no, it's not, man.
Oh, you're eating it up.
Would you let somebody shave your head? And I went and grabbed a piece of the guy's hair, and there was a little piece of scalp on it. I remember going, look at that, man.
Yeah.
Well, tell me it's fake. I was hooked then.
So what happened the day you found out it wasn't necessarily what you thought it was?
What are you talking about, bro?
There you go.
He still
There
thinks
it
it's
is.
real.
To this day,
It's
my
only fake when I lose. When I win, it's real.
Okay.
There you go.
WrestleMania 10 was 1,000% real.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
So, what do you think of the product and AEW?
I've been at both AEW shows. I think as a wrestler, the more wrestling, the better. Like more places to work, better. And they're a lot of young guys who have their own kind of today's clique. They're the Bullet Club or they're the elite, whatever they call themselves. But it's a bunch of guys who all get along and hang out together and talk business. Like after hours, they sit around and talk business. So they came up with an idea, and I think it's great.
What can they do to avoid what ultimately happened in WCW?
Well, they got big money behind them. I think this whole thing came about, AEW came about, obviously because young talented guys were looking for an alternative, but also by Vince saying, hey, XFL's coming again. The money guy behind AEW, the father owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he gave his son a couple billion, which already is more than Vince has accumulated. Here, we're in the wrestling business now. So I think the guy just said, enough of this. Enough of you. You want to come in my world? I'm coming in your world.
Do you like their odds of succeeding?
Well, that's a good point, man. I didn't think about that.
I think the way they're doing it is they're only doing a few shows with a lot of hype around them. I personally believe that the company buys all the tickets and resells them. I don't think they sold out the MGM Grand in 4 minutes.
No, interesting.
I think the company buys them to create hype and momentum and keep it going, and then they resell them.
Yeah. Have you been approached about possibly doing any work with AEW?
I have not.
You have not?
No.
Okay.
I almost think I'm at the thing where these guys are young guys and they want to do their own thing. Like they hired Jim Ross, but he was real clear to say, I'm here if they need me. I'm not volunteering. If they come to me and ask me, I will help them. He's being real clear about it. Because they got a bunch of young guys, and now they got big money behind them. They're feeling pretty full of themselves, and they should be. They're doing good stuff. Mm-hmm. I've wrestled in Vegas when I wrestled Kevin Nash there in a red-hot storyline with big TV behind us. The place was sold out, same arena, but the fans were quieter. They watched, but they weren't as boisterous. They were rowdy and reckless and ready to go at that show, which is unique for Vegas because you can see Elton John.
Vegas is not a big wrestling town.
No, they've seen everything.
Yeah.
I thought bad move. I didn't think they'd draw, and I thought, man, go to Atlanta, go to Charlotte, go to Philly,
to a hotbed,
go into a wrestling town, and go where people can drive. You got to fly to Vegas, and it's the most expensive weekend out there. Hotels were high, airfare was high. It was a big deal.
So it's safe to say Scott Hall is impressed with AEW so far.
Yeah, I mean, to me, wrestling's hot everywhere. It's hot in Japan. It's hot in Europe.
Do you watch the current product?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Vince too?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to sit through 3 hours of Raw. I'll admit it. I mean, to me, NXT is the hottest show, and mainly because it's new guys, and it's only 1 hour.
And it's short.
It's 1 hour.
Yeah, extension. Yeah.
The very first Raws were 1 hour, and they were hot. 3 hours is brutal.
We had Tatanka in about a week and a half ago, and he was telling us the young talent doesn't respect the legends like yourself. Because you are a legend now, right?
Well,
how do they approach you when they see you in the locker room?
Most of the guys are real cool to me and real respectful.
I would think they would be.
Because...
To you.
Yeah.
To you.
I mean, that's how I came up. There's some guys you like more than others as a fan, but I was respectful to everybody. Been thanking them for laying the groundwork. Like, doing what you did allows me to make a good living doing this. And I always looked at it like that. Plus, a lot of guys you're like a fan of. Like, holy cow. I remember the first time I saw Killer Kowalski in the back. I was like, holy shit.
That's Killer Kowalski.
And I remember Triple H was, he trained Triple H. So they're traveling together. And they're sharing a room. And I had to go, bro, does he sleep with that brutal wig on? and he went, and Paul went like, yeah. And I went, oh. I said, you can't say something to me? He goes, I don't know what to do. Like Paul was really shy then, and like, I don't know what to do. I said, bro, you'd be doing him a favor. Tell him it's brutal, But, it's really cool to see the old timers in the back and stuff. I mean,
tell us how you broke into the biz.
I had been lifting weights and trying to get big, because my goal was to be a pro wrestler.
Trying?
And I lived in Orlando, so... And I used to go to some of the shows in Orlando with my buddies and stand by the railing and go, like when different guys would walk by, like Billy Jack and stuff, guys would walk by, superstar Billy Graham, I walk by and I go, how do I look? They go, man, you look good. Like, I mean,
Were you bigger than Graham?
Well, at that time, I mean, and at his peak and me at my peak, I would say he was bigger.
Okay.
But he was taking a boatload of stuff and I was taking what the doctor gave me. But
what was the doctor giving you?
Well, back then in Florida, steroids were legal.
Yeah.
So I was 292 before I ever took anything.
Really?
I was really lucky. The guys who schooled me and the guys that I lived with, in the gym, you'd see guys growing up and getting bigger, and I'd be going like, wow, like look at him. And there you could buy him in the gym. And I was going, and the guy trained me about 10 years older than me, and he went like, no, man. He goes, let's keep an eye on him. Easy come, easy go. Like you blow up, then you go off him and you shrink, and then you start feeling so horrible you don't train at all. You don't even go to the gym.
Well, there's a difference between Scott Hall and the AWA. I mean, you were super jacked then. Right. And then when you come to the WWE, I assume you're still juicing, right?
No, they drug tested.
So you just stopped?
Yeah.
But he's still a big guy. It's still
Well,
held
I mean,
on.
the whole thing is, to me, I was about 280, 285 in AWA. I'm 260, but as long as everybody's off the gas, the big guys are still the big guys. I mean, it's still 6'6".
So tell us how you break in. Okay, you've gotten big enough now.
So now I go to shows and I stand there, and I got involved in a really traumatic. I was working at a strip club in Orlando and got involved in a shooting there, and so to me it was like, okay, like this is evil. I can't be here anymore. And I've been talking about this wrestling thing. I moved to Tampa. I didn't know anybody, but I knew wrestling was there somewhere, and I just went looking for wrestling. I joined 5 gyms in Tampa to find out where the wrestlers worked out. Then I finally found out, and then slowly. I remember
who gave you the break. Like
the first contact I had with anybody in wrestling was I was in a Publix grocery store. I'm looking at steaks, and Barry Windham walked up next to me.
Barry Windham. Nice.
And Barry's looking at steaks, and I remember going. I said, "Wow, I did the old I don't want to bother you thing, but I'm a big fan, And Barry Windham, and he goes, and I'm a big dude, and at that time in Tampa, they had college football. They had the USFL, the Tampa Bay Bandits, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then they had pro wrestlers. There was a lot of big muscle heads in Tampa at that time. And he goes, "Man, what do you do for a living?" I said, "Man, I'm trying to get into your business." And I was working out with a famous Japanese wrestler, Hiro Matsuda. And he trained Hulk, Paul Orndorff, Lex Luger, and I. And he said, "Oh, F Hiro, he'll just have you doing Hindu squats all around the building," which was true. Hiro has the record for doing 10,000 Hindu squats. It's like just free bodyweight squats without stopping.
Oh, my God.
So he said, "You know where the Sportatorium is?" And I'm going, "Yeah, I'm there every Wednesday watching you guys tape TV." He goes, meet me there tomorrow at like 11 o'clock. And I was there at 10. So I said, "Man, Barry Windham's got to drive to Miami tonight. He ain't coming down here." He showed up and brought Mike Rotunda with him. The first bump I ever took in a wrestling was I laid flat in the ring, and they grabbed me around the shoulders, around the knees, and lifted me up to waist high and dropped me. And then I bumped Barry while Mike watched. Then I would bump Mike while Barry watched. I'm slamming these major stars. And I'm a career ender, bro. I've never touched anybody. I've been doing Hindu squats and push-ups. And that was my first introduction. Back then, I didn't know that everybody knew everybody. Like, I didn't know all the boys knew each other's stuff. So Barry was like, "Yeah, we saw this big kid in the gym and this and that." And then Dusty was the boss, and next thing you know, you go from being on the outside to being in. Like, they started giving me tickets to the shows. Instead of buying them, they were giving them to me. And then I was allowed to come in the locker room, which is like, whoa,
nice.
Yeah.
So what were you doing on the side, working as a bouncer?
I was bouncing at a country bar in Tampa.
And that was enough money to
It was called the Dallas Bull Lounge.
Nice.
Yeah, Dusty and the boys would come in here and sing on stage after shows and stuff.
How often do you get laid from the strippers in that place?
I always learned, you don't shit where you eat. I never banged girls from the club I worked in. There was other clubs in town. Because if it doesn't work out and then you got to work at that same club with that girl, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah,
easy.
but would the bouncers from the other club be cool with you coming in? Hey, it's that bouncer from the other club.
Well, yeah, because they're coming in our clubs.
Oh, so you
and I'm
guys
going,
are just
"Hey,
swapping."
no, because
that's cool.
well, all the guys knew, don't do it where you work, man.
Woodstock bouncers.
Don't do it where you work because
Okay.
because if it doesn't work out, you still got to see her every day.
Nice. Well, let me ask you about your debut in NWA Florida and your program with Dusty Rhodes. Some memories of working with Dusty in the beginning?
Well, the thing is, Dusty left Florida and took the job in Charlotte.
Okay.
Before I ever had a match.
Okay.
So he was going to make me and Danny Spivey we were the American Starship, and we were going to be his Road Warriors. And it probably would have worked had Dusty stayed in Florida because Dusty's smart.
Yeah.
But, Dory Funk had killed Charlotte off, so then they switched roles. Dory took Florida and killed it, and Dusty went to Charlotte and resurrected it. But at this time...
Coyote Starship?
I'm
processing this name 30 plus years later.
At this time, it's, the territory's coming up. And when, when I work, I make $600 a match. Like, it's great money, but I'm too green to work. And I'm too big to beat. So it was kind of brutal. But they took care of me. Jim Crockett owned the Charlotte Orioles, the AA ball team, and I had a job working on the grounds crew. $300 a week. But I made it. It was 84, 85. I could live off $300 a week.
Did you know you were going to make it, though? Did you feel that momentum? Or did you feel like, this could be a mistake?
Well, I remember looking at guys who were over and going, I think I can do that. Like, I would go sit and watch the guys do interview, and I was thinking, I think
You had confidence.
Was there a guy that was over that you were scratching your head like, I don't even know how this guy's making cash right now?
No, because at that time, most of the guys who were over, like, they deserved it. I mean, I was there when the Horsemen were red hot.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget because I just saw Tully in Las Vegas. And, like, now the WWE is so politically correct, I doubt that this kind of exchange goes on anymore. But I found it really valuable to me. Like, I was on about the second match, and Tully came out and said, "Hey, kid, come here." He said, "That one thing you did, that was really good. That other thing, that was good. Keep doing that." He goes, "That other stuff, that was effing horrible. Don't ever do that again." And then he started to walk away, then he turned back around. He goes, "Look, don't get it twisted. Not like I care. I just don't want you killing the crowd off before we go out."
Nice.
There you go.
But I never forgot that.
Anybody you pattern yourself after coming up in the business? Like, I want to be like this wrestler or that wrestler?
I always thought it was important to learn how to be able to wrestle. You know, like I worked in Japan a lot before I had any success in the U.S., and over there you can't talk to the guys. And you don't have to. I mean, you may send one or two spots over with the translator, and you'll find out that if it's something where you come out on top, they don't understand. When it's them going over, they get it the first time, you know. But I just thought it was important to be able to chain wrestle because then you don't have to talk it. If you put me in a hold and I can reverse it, I'm going to reverse it.
Right.
And then you cut me off. And good luck holding me down because I'm not going to lay there. You know, I think I liked it when everything wasn't so scripted. Like, if you're so good, prove it, bro, because I'm going to display your ability or lack of ability, but do it in 3, 2, 1. You know, I like it being real competitive. I mean, I was the reason, by me leaving the WWE when I did, now everybody gets guaranteed money, everybody gets guaranteed schedule, like reduced schedule. They also have a non-compete thing of 90 days because I jumped and went, you know, the next day. But
changed everything.
They, I don't know, like people say thank you to me for it, and I say you're welcome. You know, I took a lot of heat for it. Vince blamed me for leaving and blamed me for taking Kev. For 15 years, I didn't get a royalty check. Kev still got his.
Really?
I didn't get mine.
Did you
But
sue
when
him?
they welcomed me back, what good will that do? I got a kid in the business.
But why you didn't sue him, though? You deserve those royalty checks, don't you?
Yeah, but I got a kid trying to make it in the wrestling business. What do I want? More heat with Vince?
Okay.
I hear that.
All right.
How is Cody? Can I ask?
He's doing great. He just left Noah, where he was living in Japan for nearly 4 years. I took him to...
shake off the injury bug because
Yeah.
he got hit with it really bad.
yeah,
for
he
a
got
while.
hit. He caught one of those young bucks who jumped off a balcony.
It was bad.
Off a
Yeah.
balcony, not
Yeah.
the top rope. Off a
Yeah.
effing balcony.
I
I told Cody, I said...
did you know
I
he was
said,
going to
Cody,
do that
most
spot?
guys-
I was
no,
like,
I
no,
would've-
don't
I
do that
would've-
spot.
I would have killed that. I would have told him,
Yeah.
F no. And the thing is, there was a bunch of guys around, but Cody's 6'8".
He's huge.
And everybody else moves, and he catches the guy. So...
I hope Vince is aware of him. I think he
To
has
the
huge
Young Bucks'
potential.
credit, they stayed with him in the hospital and called me.
Okay.
Because I find out he's hurt, and I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm DMing New Japan, going, contact me ASAP.
Oh yeah.
So Tiger
This is
Hattori
serious.
did, and I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "No, he's in the hospital."
And what was his injuries? If you could tell the home.
No,
audience?
he hurt his neck and ended up. Then he came back to Atlanta, and I've suffered some, spine damage and nerve loss and stuff. So because I didn't get the surgery right away, because nobody was doing this surgery back then, so it put me in a tough spot. Like, you're a grown man, I can't make this call for you. So he decided to return to Japan and had the surgery there, and wrote out his time with New Japan. But now they're like, when you get hurt, the bosses get mad at you. Like, all of a sudden you're hurt, we're mad at you. So he went to Noah, and now he's in the UK. He's got the strap off some German company. He's their champ. He's got this strap. There's a lot of companies in the UK. He's got 2 belts. He's been there like a month. Because there's you either push a guy or you don't push him. And he's a big monster in a business
immense.
full of little guys.
He's huge.
I saw him. I took him out to dinner in Liverpool. He's 6'8", about 310, and he's just turned 28 yesterday. So, and we mature slow in our family. So he's going to be a whopper. And people ask me about NXT and stuff like that. I go, NXT ain't going anywhere. I say, show me who they produced.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to produce Lars Sullivan. He's not cooperating very much. But I mean, I'm thinking, the better you are when you get there, the better you do. Everybody who's been through there's been successful had a long indie career and knew what they were doing when they got there. They haven't made anybody.
Well, let me ask you this: when you were in the AWA, was it really the WWE? Was that the pinnacle? People just say that because they're the only game in town now. Like,
well,
you see these guys are like, oh, when you got to New York, that's when you know you made it. And I'm not so sure if that's the truth.
Well, it was clearly a better product, and working for Vern, and Vern was good to me and paid me good and gave me national TV exposure. But Vern was fascinated by characters and gimmicks, but he never created one. Like, he loved the Crusher and the Bruiser. He loved Mad Dog Vachon,
Bockwinkel,
Baron Von Raschke. He loved those gimmicks, but he didn't create them. Everybody else went by their real name and was a wrestler.
Right.
And I didn't. To me, I grew up in Florida watching Dusty, and I liked that Southern style and I thought that was better. So when the belt was coming my way in the AWA, and I told Vern, I'm leaving, man. Don't put it on me.
Wow.
I don't want to be captain of a sinking ship.
So you knew it was sinking.
I knew enough to say, well, I remember because I was around the Freebirds, and we were in Chicago one time, and it was almost sold out. Michael Hayes looked at the crowd and said, man, this place is dying. We're out of here.
Smart.
Yeah, Michael Hayes is a genius. He's still got a job.
Let me ask you about Curt Hennig. You tag team with him. I think he helps you become a better wrestler.
Oh, certainly.
Did he have the drug problems back then, or was that something he gained as he got older?
I never took a pill till I was around Curt. I'd smoked a little bit of weed, and back then, I was still using steroids. And if you look at my wrestling improved during that time together, because we traveled together every day. Curt drove every mile. Just like with Kev, some guys like to drive. That's cool with me because I like sitting in the passengers. And look at his body by the time he became Mr. Perfect. You can see the give and take in our relationships. But I always say that Curt was the most unselfish guy I've ever been around. Like, there was no guaranteed money. We're both baby faces. He's competing basically for the same spot. But his job is to make me look good. And he does it without any ego. And then get in a car with me and talk to me about, remember when that happened? What were you thinking? Because this is how it looked. You should do this, that. And we would always sing that song, New York, New York, New York was everybody's dream because they were blowing away. They were so hip. The TV was so cool. And Vince was the first guy to shoot in big stadiums and show it that way.
Right.
Big arenas. Back then, they filmed in studios with 2 or 3 rows of folding metal chairs and the walls painted black. And everybody was cool with that until you see the alternative.
Yeah.
And that looks like big time.
Oh, yeah. And it was.
And it was.
It was. How much did working with Curt influence your style, just in general?
Well, like I said, Curt was a wrestler. He could wrestle. You don't have to call stuff to him because he's going to trade holds with you.
And it's true that Vern wanted to give you Hogan's push, basically, but you were like, no, thanks.
Yeah, I went. I could see the houses going down, and I see the belt coming my way, and I'm not a very good worker, but I'm not stupid. And I'm going, I can see this happening. I'm going to get the belt, and then all these. Back then, there wasn't a lot of internet stuff, but there was dirt sheets. I said, all these dirt sheet guys who hate me anyway are now to go. Well, they gave Hall the belt and killed the territory.
Oh, okay.
And see, I'm glad I didn't get that big push as Scott Hall because that wasn't who I ended up being more successful as. Like where I struggled in the AWA was I was Scott Hall in the grocery store, but I was Scott Hall in the ring. So until I had this character, this Scarface Razor Ramon guy that I could step into, like no matter how I might be going through a divorce and my kids don't talk to me but I stepped through that curtain. How you doing? Better than you?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like I just ripped off the Scarface attitude. Like all I want is what I got coming to.
So let's put you into WWE. I think one of your first major matches were against Macho Man Randy Savage. Give me your thoughts on Savage, and if you could possibly share his attitude. I don't know if Elizabeth was part of that at that point, and how did he treat Elizabeth and our gorgeous George in the WCW? Was he as jealous as everybody says he was?
I have heard stories about Mach, and they even put out, his family even endorsed the DVD they put out where they talked about how crazy he was.
Right.
Like locking her in the condo going, here's 21 TV dinners,
right.
I'll be back in a week. Like locking her in where she couldn't get out. And that's dangerous. I mean, what if there's a fire? Like I got to think what if there's a fire. But no, he was super protective of her. And this is in a time when she was the only woman in wrestling. So there was no ladies' dressing rooms. There was none of that shit. So he'd have to, okay, everybody turn your back. Liz is coming through. There were some guys who'll go, hey, Liz, take a look at that.
Right.
The boys are the boys.
Right.
And if they think it bothers you, then they do it more. And Randy was super intense. I remember when I was working with him, and this is at a time when Randy didn't put guys over, but he's putting Razor over.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did he script out your matches? Like make these long move for move matches?
He did that with Dallas. I never did that with him.
Okay.
I don't want. It's not how Kurt taught me to work. Because what works in New York it might not work in Atlanta. You have to change his market to market.
Yeah. Okay.
How about the in-ring chemistry with you and Randy? How would you describe it?
Well, for me, it's Randy Savage. He's already a made star. So, and I'm getting a big push. They did 5 or 6 weeks of vignettes that Vince personally directed. Vince flew to South Beach with me and directed them. So I know I'm getting a push, but also I have the advantage of my boy Perfect being a liaison. He's already proved he's a great talent in the ring. And Vince loves him so much that they give him he's collecting his Lloyd's of London insurance policy. So he's getting paid. And then he gets paid to be an announcer and trained by Vince. Vince is schooling him how to be an announcer. And he's at that part where he's kind of office, but he's one of the boys.
Did he help bring you into Vince? How did you exactly, arrive with Vince?
I remember calling Vince's office every week for a year.
Oy.
I would call Pat. Can I speak to Pat, please? I'm sorry. He's not available.
No.
I'll only speak to you if you come to the office naked.
Would you stop? He's got Pat. Never mind. Oh, Razor, you're so sharp.
And Pat
Razor, you got a nice ass. Come on to the
To me, if you've ever met Pat, he's like the most. He's the least gay acting guy you'll ever be around.
Okay.
And he's open
At least
about it.
somebody said that.
He doesn't care. No, I love Pat.
Yeah, we don't know. We only
He's
hear
a
these
genius,
ridiculous
bro.
things.
He's a genius.
He is a genius. We'll
He's
give you that.
responsible for all the success of that company.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
And he
definitely
doesn't
a
get enough
genius.
credit. Well, he does, though, because they bring him around whenever he wants to come around. I see him at Mania now these years. And he comes around and does whatever he wants.
Okay.
And they treat him good, and they should.
He should really work with the writing team now. He could probably give them a lot of help.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to. He's already done it.
So you were calling every day for a year.
So I called every day for a year, never could get through.
Okay.
So then I run into, now my wife is a year pregnant. I mean, about to have a baby.
Right.
And I'm about to quit wrestling, but now I need a job. So I saw Diamond Dallas Page, and I said, Dally, I need a job, man. And he thinks about it, and then he starts calling me. He gave me the black hair. He gave me the stubble. He gave me the toothpick. He gave me everything. And
He gave you the toothpick.
I already knew how to work.
How about the actual name Razor Ramon?
Well, I came up with that because I liked Razor. So when I debuted as a Diamond Dud, the Diamond Stud. Mm-hmm. That day I get home, I have to drive back to Florida from Atlanta. I'm that low on the totem pole. I get home, I got 3 messages from Pat Patterson. Holy cow. Now I call, can I speak to Pat? I get right through. So Pat goes, hey kid, I'm going to come right to the point. Vince loves the new look.
Oh boy.
And he goes, did you sign a contract with them sons of bitches? And I said, Pat, I didn't want to work for them. I wouldn't have called your office every week for a year if I did. He goes, calm down, kid, calm down. He's laughing. Pat's always laughing. Calm down, French Canadian. Calm down,
kid.
He goes, don't worry, you'll be able to tell him in a year. New York wants you.
And then
1 year later,
you're in New
Razor
York.
was born.
So let's jump. They give you the Intercontinental strap. With growing up, the Intercontinental strap meant everything.
Well, that was
to this company,
back
right?
in that era. That was like the workers' belt.
Yeah, that was the number 2, right? And that was the real guy.
Well, that's the guy who can work with anybody. And then the big belt was like if you're an attraction.
Yeah. So we had Tito Santana, Greg Valentine, great Intercontinental champions.
Right.
However, we did have Shane Douglas, who was an Intercontinental champion. And
Right.
He kind of tells a story
Dean
on our show
Douglas.
that you really dicked him over
Well,
in Canada.
They came to me. I worked in a tag match against the Smoking Guns with Kid and rocked it. And then because Sean got beat up in some club, he couldn't work with Shane.
Did he really get beat up?
Yeah, beat bad.
Really?
And nobody helped him. Like, I think David
Were you
Bourne,
there?
some guys were there. No, I was in a different town.
Okay.
I think I was in Europe with Kev.
Okay.
And
Who was he with? That they were just standing
I don't
around
know.
going, kick him again?
They got stuck in the car.
They got
or
stuck
whatever.
in the car.
Couldn't- yeah, whatever.
Okay,
something
all right.
happened.
All right.
All right, so bring us back to Canada. They're going to give Shane the title.
Well, they give it to Shane, and then I think Gorilla orders him to defend it against me, and they put it on me.
But hold it.
But he thinks I'm back there politicking for it, bro. I've already had it a couple times. Sometimes you reach a point where you don't need the belt. You become more over than the belt. Give the belt to somebody to establish.
But he kind of tells a story that you're sitting at a bar with him, I guess, and you say, "Hey, man, they're going to give you the strap," and he's all excited, but he's kind of doesn't understand why they told you he's getting it. He gets called into this dark room. Vince has like one light hanging over his head and starts talking about giving the belt. And then he goes, after you win the belt, you're going to lose it 10 minutes later. And then the light comes on and you're sitting in the corner.
Doesn't this sound like a great promo?
Staring at him.
At least sounds like a good promo.
Yeah, it's a good story. I don't have any memory of that. But I mean,
sounds like a good promo, though.
Here's my side of the story. Is Shane Douglas came in with a reputation as being great. Like, I was going to get him over, and he was going to rewrite wrestling history working with Shawn Michaels. Except he's little, but he's slow, and he's heavy, and he's not that athletic, and he's not that good a talker. That Dean gimmick wasn't his fault. That was put on him, but that was horrible.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, I think, he was given the opportunity. He didn't deliver the goods, and he's bitter about it. But, I mean, I don't care. I never got along with him. I mean, it ain't show friends, it's show business, We're never going to have dinner together. We're never going to travel together. It doesn't matter to me.
Right. Can I ask you about, I have to ask you about your great, great, great match, which I watched last night because I'm a freaking mark, against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10. Did you realize, during the match, after the match, how quickly before you realized, whoa, this match is iconic, this is something that the fans are going to talk to me about forever?
I signed autographs 2 hours nonstop in Vegas. I did all the NWO stuff, and I thought I was done. Then they pulled me in another room, and for 2 hours I took pictures on a ladder with the IC belt.
Get out.
But that Conrad Thompson's so slick, he gave fans a commemorative painting of me holding the two belts, that photo, but a painting of it kind of, and then a 25th anniversary pin and a photo on the ladder for whatever it was. So, he's smart. And but actually we'd had a few of them, so we knew even if we have our worst one, it's going to be okay. And everything, sometimes the ladder will fall the right way and just on its own and do something cool.
It did.
Yeah, it did some cool stuff on its own.
It did.
But I remember, my memories of that are like when we go home, I grab both belts, boom, I take a bump, and I'm laying there, and people are popping. And we know we've gone over a little bit, and we know that Mach and Crush are behind us. And they're going to do some little thing, fight around, but we're cutting into their time. I'm well aware of that. But with that ladder match, it's the kind of thing, once you put it in motion, you can't speed it up or slow it down.
Yeah.
So, and then now I'm laying there, and then I hear Shawn tell Baby Earl, the ref, tell Reyes to climb the ladder with the belts. So that's what I did. So there's two iconic photos. One of Shawn splashing me, which they show on their TV all the time, by the way. So I've signed some of those today at the signing. I have to remind people, I won this match. Right. But then there's the one of me with the two belts, and that's all Shawn, because to me, people criticize us all the time. Oh, they're holding people down, they're selfish. No, that's my boy going, no, get your moment, bro. Like Vince calls it, your WrestleMania moment.
Let's speak about Shawn a little bit. When Sonny was in the WWE and Shawn was with Sonny, you were part of the clique and stuff like that. How did you feel? Did you feel bad for Candido at all during this whole deal?
I don't want to talk bad about a guy who's not here to defend himself, but I had heard some stories from other people that was kind of their thing. Like he was aware of what was going on.
Okay.
That was something between them or whatever,
Do you ever hook up with any of the women back in the locker room?
No, it was the same kind of thing, that
Same
strip club
theory as
mentality.
the club,
like, what are you going to do? Like, what if it doesn't work out and you got to see her every day?
Then you got to see her every day.
There was plenty of other girls then. There was other girls.
How often did you get laid hanging out with the boys every night?
Every night.
Well, I mean, there was
just like that.
There was a thing that Shawn and I kind of prided ourselves on, is like we never had to go anywhere.
Did you have contests?
Because the girls would come to the hotel bar.
Yeah.
We never had to go out.
Right.
The fans would come to the hotel bar. But me and Shawn had this thing where we would just sit alone in the corner and get really wasted, because we may be getting hammered, but at least we're not cheating on our old ladies, because some of these guys are doing both.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to lie to you, you're on the road 30, 40 days in a row, bro, you cave. There's some towns where you have your girl you see regularly and stuff. I'm not proud of it, but that's my story.
When do you first form your friendship with Kevin Nash?
We were both mid-card jabronis. I'm the Diamond Dud, and he's Oz. And he's already been through about 3 gimmicks.
Oh, man.
And Oz is making twice what the Diamond Stud makes. And can't do a thing. It's not his fault. He just never had any matches.
So he got a fucking mask on his head, too.
Oh, it was
So-
brutal.
so bad.
They spent so much money on the costume,
Oh, my
and it
God.
was so heavy. The cape was made out of, like, old movie theater curtain, like heavy and stuff. And they gave him a big trunk to travel with. Like, now you got to get there way early and check this thing, and oh, my God.
Whose idea was it to make him Oz, please?
Dusty.
It was Dusty.
Yeah.
Ay, horrible Dusty. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bad.
Speaking of Dusty,
Painful.
But he was Master Blaster before that. Did you ever see any of that?
yeah, he was masked.
With the purple mohawk.
Then he was Vinny Vegas.
Vinny Vegas.
Yeah.
You were kind of like Diamond Stud when you first came over as Razor Ramon at first, right? In that
Well, I
dark
had the
match,
same
you kind of
look.
had that
But I
deal
never
going.
talked.
Yeah.
Dallas
What was
always
with
talked.
the Magnum PI mustache back in the AWA days?
Well, I have you know, it was in the 80s. It was the 80s, and that look was
dude,
working, bro.
Totally had it.
Mustache
It was
rocks, dude.
working.
What made you
Mustache
shave it
rocks.
off? I mean,
Well, Dallas suggested it. He goes, bro, you got to lose that mustache.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, whoa, man, I've had this for a while. Then he's going, you got to dye
a good
your hair.
move.
He's going, you got to dye your hair black, man.
Yeah.
You
Smart
got
man.
to dye your hair
Good
black.
move.
Nobody has black hair. You got to dye your hair black.
I quickly want to go back to Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 12, you're supposed to have that back alley brawl match.
Right.
I've heard points that you really didn't want to do the match, and then you got suspended. What's the story behind that? How come you didn't do that match?
I'm suspended. I gave my notice 90 days in advance as required in writing and by telegram. And then I was dirty on a piss test for marijuana. That was
Okay.
The test was 6 weeks old.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm in the building. We're at some show in New Jersey, and I'm going to work twice, which I often did when guys were hurt or guys didn't make it. Sean and Kev were doing some promotional stuff, and they weren't going to make the show. So I'm going to work twice. I remember sitting in the locker room. I'm sitting next to Taker, and we're getting dressed. And Tony Grillas, the agent, comes up to me and goes, "You're supposed to call the doctor," which means call the Mauro Di Pasquale in Toronto. He's in charge of the drug program. I go call him. His wife says, "Oh, he's not here." We'll tell him Scott Hall call. I'll call back. I go back to the locker room, continue to get dressed, and Tony goes, "What are you doing?" So I'm getting dressed, Tony. I'm going to work twice. And he went, "They want you to leave." And I said, "So this whole chain of custody thing that you've been telling us about is so, sacred. You're telling me you know the results before I do?"
Nice.
And he's going, "Look," and Tony don't know. He don't want no how. He don't want nothing. They told me to leave. So I remember I walked out through the crowd so they'd know I was there. Hey, I'm here. And I said, "That guy right there won't let me wrestle. And that red Thunderbird out there in the parking lot, that's his." And left. And I'm on like a Q-fare airfare where I can't even get home the next day. I was stuck in a hotel in Newark because they ran the Meadowlands that night. And I was supposed to work with Kid because we had a hot angle going then. He had turned on Razor. But I'm not going to be at the Meadowlands. And one thing I learned from Vince is whenever you substitute, you bring in a bigger name. They brought in Roddy Piper to work with Kid. And Roddy substituted with the Goldust thing.
Yeah.
Because I was suspended.
Which I love that match, by the way. I
He
couldn't
does.
imagine what you could have done in that
Well,
type
I mean,
of match.
it would have been what it was.
Listen, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. You mind playing a game with us called Hit It or Quit It?
Okay.
All right.
He's
All
like,
right, so we're going to take a quick 2-minute commercial break, and then we're going to play some Hit It or Quit It.
be right back.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys have to...
This is Jimmy Farrow of Monty and the Pharaoh, 5 Minutes with the Pharaoh, and with Stereo Hall. Asking you to please support Monty and the Pharaoh, seen every week on Facebook Live, Village Connection Network, Late Night in the Village, 8:05 on Thursdays. Please also go to the Monty and the Pharaoh website.com, and please check out our sponsors page. And please support our sponsors as they continue to help us bring this programming to you that you so enjoy. So check out MontyandthePharaoh.com, and you can catch replays of Monty and the Pharaoh on Village Connection Network, Late Night in the Village, and on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel. Please catch 5 Minutes with the Pharaoh available on its own 5 Minutes with the Pharaoh Facebook page, the 5 Minutes with the Pharaoh YouTube page, and also featured as part of MontyandthePharaoh.com. You can also catch Wisteria Hall on their own Wisteria Hall Facebook page, Wisteria Hall's YouTube channel. Wisteria Hall's latest releases are also available through iTunes, Spotify, our home base of Reverb Nation, and of course, the Wisteria Hall Facebook page. This is Jimmy Farrow from Village Connection Radio Network. Later.
You ready to roll?
No.
You're kind of tall.
Am I on camera? Do you even see my face?
You're really tall.
No, that's the strong thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me bring.
Minga.
Too tall, bro. All right, explain the game.
All right, so we are going to play a game called Hit It or Quit It, where we'll be showing you WWE superstars and some other people, and you're just going to give us an answer whether you'd hit it or quit it.
You know.
Are you ready, Mr. Scott Hall?
Okay.
Oh, no thanks.
Yeah.
She's like fugly and stuff.
Whenever you're ready to go.
You got to explain it to
Good?
the audience at home.
They've watched it enough. They've seen it. Again. You ready to roll? Okay. Scott.
Yes.
Whoops. Let's get this back after I just screwed this up already.
Why, hello out there.
All right. Miss Alexa Bliss from the WWE. Hit it or quit it?
Hit it.
Why?
Logical. Why?
I mean, gorgeous young. I'm 60. She's a gorgeous young girl in her 20s.
60. You're barely 60.
Can you not see the photo, bro?
Stop dating yourself. You just
Hey,
turned
look,
60.
I've got to ask.
Hey,
Mandy Rose,
for God's
WWE
sakes.
superstar.
This is a no-brainer.
I mean, I see gorgeous young girl in a thong, a 60-year-old guy. Like, yeah, I'll hit it.
Well, you don't like
I sense a pattern.
you don't like the shit where you eat, though.
Oh my! Yeah, well, that's wait a minute.
Scott, by the way,
they're
they really-
wrestlers.
they
You're not
really
supposed
should-
to poop
they
where
really-
you
Yeah,
eat.
but I'm not currently on the active roster.
They really should put you on the writing team.
I wish they would.
All right, how about this one then?
Hit
Nia
it.
Jax.
Hit it.
You're hitting it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Explain this one, bro.
Please explain this.
No, she's cool, man. You ever met her? She's
No,
cool.
I've never met her. I'm not
Like,
Scott Hall.
to me, like, sometimes personality goes a long way, man.
Oh,
Damn,
okay.
look at
Did you ever see
Wow, he's
pictures of her
deep.
when she was young?
Yeah, gorgeous.
She used to be
Yes,
hot as
I
hell.
agree.
So
I
there's
agree.
still that hottie inside there.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay, very
Nice
good.
answer,
Very
Scott.
good. I'm impressed.
All right,
What? Oh, I know who this is.
Brock's girl.
I don't know if he's going to answer this. Brock will get mad. Sable.
I knew her. I was close friends with her first husband, Mark Marrow.
Okay.
So I was around her a lot, and yeah, she's a very attractive lady. I mean, but she's spoken for.
Scott, here's a question
So he's
for you.
quitting it. He's quitting
I
this
quit
one.
that.
This
If
guy
you-
has
if you-
morals,
if
man.
you-
Yeah, she's. I mean,
wow.
I consider Brock a buddy. You know, I mean,
you
I'm
go.
not going to talk smack about
you
his
go.
wife.
So no, but
Fair enough.
Marrow talks about when he finds out that she's cheating on him, right? That he finds out it's Lesnar, and all of a sudden he doesn't feel like he really wants to deal with that. So,
Oh, I didn't know that it was a cheat situation. It's none of my business.
There you go.
Okay.
What do you got?
All right, how about your girl Sonny?
Oh,
No thanks.
that's
Big
a pass.
fan? Not a big fan of her?
No, I mean,
That's a pass.
it's just, yeah, it's a quit it. You know, I mean,
He's quitting that.
no, she's struggling. I've been there. It's
Yeah,
you know,
hell yeah.
addiction's a bitch and it takes a toll. You know.
All right, how about our local pizza guy?
No.
Do you know that guy?
No.
Hit it for sure. For a thin crust veggie,
You're too
thin crust veggie, light
Thin
sauce,
crust veggie?
light sauce.
Best answer.
Holy toothpick, Batman.
extra
Oh,
mushrooms.
I can't.
All right, Alicia Fox.
Hit it for sure. She's
Is she hot or what?
she is so.
Okay, he's hitting.
And the thing is, she's so cool. You know, like.
Why isn't she getting a push? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, she doesn't help herself much. She, I mean, like I was talking to Liv Tyler the other day. Like we were messaging back and forth, and I said, because they broke her off from that group she was with, and she's on her own now. I said, listen, both your partners work strong, then you come in and everybody gets everything on you. I said, you got to change that. You got to have some moves and do them all the time. Start doing it. Do it now. You know, and I think that's Alicia's problem too. She doesn't have a move set, and sometimes you have to be a little selfish. Like, no, I'm getting my stuff in first, then you do your stuff. Like, I don't know.
Do they ever approach you about being part of the writing team and helping the talent? I mean, you've got a great mind for the business.
How
I've
about
been
NXT
told that
with
a lot.
Sean?
I would rather be there and work with the big guys.
How about down in NXT
Like,
with
no
Sean?
one's teaching. They got a few big guys down there now, and there's no big guys teaching them how to work.
Yeah. All right, next up. Oh,
What?
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Local radio host. What are you thinking?
Hit it for sure.
Great hello to you.
Wow, look at that. How come?
I like brunettes.
Really?
Yeah,
Looks red to me.
big
Next.
eyebrows.
It's a little scary. All right. Charlotte Flair. I know she's Flair's girl.
No, that's I go so long with Rick. I've just got to say, out of respect, like quit it. You know?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, you ain't touching
I
that
go,
one.
I go way back with Rick.
By the way, greatest woman wrestler in the history of
I
professional
think so.
wrestling.
Right there?
I think so.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
How do you like
Nice.
the women's product right now?
It's the women.
A little overblown?
In my era,
little?
there was only 1 or 2 women that wrestled. Now the women are a strong part of it, and even in my era, the women traditionally worked harder than the guys.
Really now?
Because they had heat. Like, man, you don't draw.
Really?
Nobody's here to see you. It's just like when the midgets come in. Man, nobody's here to see you. You're a novelty act. You're taking money out of my pocket, you know. And the girls will go out there and work harder.
Would people dare give Moolah an attitude back in the day?
I was never around Moolah.
I
That
would
was
think
before
not.
my time.
Interesting. Okay.
Kamala.
What? Why on earth would he hit
Gotta
Kamala?
throw
What
Kamala
the
in there.
hell?
Brother, I worked with Kamala, and when they were turning Razor, like after I'd been beat by Kid and he sold the money, so I was on like second, third matches were against Kamala, and he's a babyface.
Great.
And the people are chanting 1, 2, 3, and he would do this thing where he'd stick his hand out. And he'd go like that. And people go, no. I'd go like, you know, I'm just doing opening match stuff. Like, shake my hand. People go, no. And he's looking at the people and he goes, Razor, I know you're going to kick me. I know you're going to kick me. And like, I mean, he's so talented. It's so sad what happened to him. And that diabetes,
Yeah.
a lot of people, man, a lot of it's diet related. And
Yeah,
if you're
sure.
not watching what you eat,
Everything's
that stuff will get a hold of you.
Listen, real quick, do you think Vince has a responsibility to taking care of the old professional wrestlers?
I'm going to echo what Vince says and say no, because until they make a fundamental change, you're an independent contractor, and it's better for him that way. And if the lowest paid guy in the company is getting paid pretty good, it's kind of up to you to handle your money. You know, I mean, I don't. And until they change it, and I don't see it happening, it's going to be the way it is. So, adapt or get left
You
behind.
still a millionaire?
Yeah.
So why do you do this?
I like getting out of the house. Plus, I mean, it's not like I need the
basic.
money, but I want it.
Yeah.
I mean,
why wouldn't you?
and for me, people stand in line today 3 hours to tell me how cool I am and pay money.
Darn.
I'm available.
Rats. What a rough life. Sign me up.
I mean, and to get to travel, like I was just in Liverpool and I was in Las
You
Vegas
still get to
last
sit in
week.
3 hours of traffic.
Yeah,
coming to
well,
New
there's
York.
always
Yeah,
that.
this was brutal. I tried to get out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll try. There it goes. There you go.
Hit it for sure. Kong?
What?
Oh, yeah. She's
Kong?
a sweetheart.
You're hitting Kong?
Have you ever met her? She's
What
a
the hell is
sweetheart,
going
bro.
she's a
Look at you.
sweetheart.
You're
I'm
pretty
so
politically correct,
confused.
my friend. I didn't realize this.
He's not being, I think he's being honest. What's
She's not
his
a-
point?
no, she's not
I
a
think he
bad-looking
would
woman.
hit it. What are you talking
If you
about?
catch her on a
Look,
on a close here, she's not.
Can they see on camera who's judging these women next to me? Like
judging
girls are just lining up to be with you two. Right?
Wait! So I get lumped in with you! Damn! That hook me up again.
Oh
Thanks.
my
Fucking
god!
rock and roll.
Like you're just turning down broads left and
Of course he
right.
finds that funny. The guy who's not here.
This is true.
Get the hell out of here.
Thanks, Scott.
Unbelievable.
Thanks for.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just-
saw that line
Right.
of girls out there waiting for you, man. Oh, definitely hit this. She's a sweetheart.
I can't put this thing. I'll just talk
That's
into
Natalie
it.
Eva
How you
Marie.
doing?
She's a
Did she have
sweetheart.
the goods?
They really tried to push her. They tried, and I was really helping her because I liked her, and I like her,
Yeah.
her, I guess, husband now. But he was a sweet guy, and I tried to help her. But she had that thing where she was getting pushed and she wasn't ready, and nothing will make people hate you more than that.
Yeah.
Like the other girls weren't helping her; they were working against her because she hasn't done anything. Look at her, she's getting a big push.
Dude, I'm going to
you
say
know?
it again. If you were writing and you were working with the talent, you can make a real difference. Unbelievable. What you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Oh, well, I mean,
All right, come on now. Look,
Ruby
I know
Riott.
I'm ugly, but come on.
bro, have you seen that tight little body on her? I'd hit that for sure. Plus, she's
Jesus Christ.
she's cool, bro. I mean, like to me,
personality.
How long can you make love? You know, 55 minutes, an hour. You know, but then like.
10 seconds.
Yeah, but I mean, then what do you do? Hopefully, you got some jokes.
10
or you
seconds?
You want to watch a movie, you know? Like, I want to be able to. I want to be able to hang out with them after,
I
you
hear
know?
you. All right.
And go out.
Can't
to
even
dinner
hang out with them
and stuff,
before.
you know?
It's already hanging and
Tori
coughing.
Wilson
She's really pretty, but doesn't do it for me.
doesn't do it for you.
No, I mean, everybody has their type, and she's a sweetheart, and she's smoking hot, and A-Rod, and the whole deal, but doesn't do it for me.
I got you.
I'm not saying it, I don't know her or any of that, but you're asking me, I'm telling you.
You seem like a personality guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's easy to be hot. Now, do you have any personality? I'm going to bow out of this one, too, just out of respect for Cody. You know,
Very
it's,
good.
obviously, his wife's gorgeous.
Gorgeous
And
lady.
judging by my previous observations, like, if you're young and gorgeous and willing...
Come on in.
Unless I know your old man, I don't know. Oh,
Best ass in wrestling?
Come on now.
Smoking hot.
Yeah.
This is smoking hot.
Smoking. She's smoking hot. And cool.
You get bow out of this one, though.
Oh,
Well, that's,
boy.
that's my buddy's wife,
Gorgeous lady, though, right?
She's beautiful and smart.
Real quick, China, he's fooling around with Stephanie. Did you know that whole thing was going on?
Yeah.
And did he discuss it with you?
It's none of my business. Like, I'm not going to ask you what you're doing. Like, live your life. You're
Just
young.
live your life, do your
You're a
thing.
young single guy, man.
Are
Date
you
who you
nervous for him, though? Vince finds out. Not a little worried?
want. At that time, he was becoming so valuable that he was willing to take his chances.
Gotcha.
Cool. And he's a real smart guy.
Very
he
smart
was
guy.
a designated driver for the Clique because he didn't drink or do drugs. So we started getting vans going, here, you're driving.
Was he supportive of you when you were going through your problems?
Yeah, I paid for the first 5 rehabs myself. WWE wasn't giving me any royalties at the time, but they sent me to 6 rehabs.
Oh.
And these are $40,000 a pop rehabs.
Grab this back. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. I'll grab.
Yeah,
this
and they started delving into my situation, going, okay, like just 12-step stuff isn't working. You need dual diagnosis. You need PTSD counseling. You need psych counseling.
How did you feel when WCW actually wrote it in?
Well,
'Cause that was very
Bischoff came to me
bizarre.
and said, we're going to do this. And I said, like, whatever you want, man. I need this high-paying job, whatever you want.
As long as you.
I
pay.
personally thought, like, wow, it's in bad taste, but
Bro,
so then he did it for a few weeks, and then it came down from up above, because I believe every person knows somebody who struggles with addiction.
Gotcha.
Everybody in America knows somebody. So some big shot at Turner went, hey, kill that storyline, because it might be his wife, it might be his brother, stop that.
I want to get you out of here. Last one.
How funny was?
How funny would it be if you hit that? Yeah, it would be pretty funny.
Again?
Again?
Yo, Scott.
Hey, I'm the reason his eyes are crossed.
Oh my God!
We all know that Sean found Jesus, right?
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time, though.
Yeah.
He has that hunting deal. How do you shoot Bambi and still
Praise
represent
Jesus.
praise
No,
Jesus?
but because he
Stand
takes
still
the
for
food
Jesus.
to homeless shelters and stuff.
Does he really like?
When they shoot a boar and stuff, they butcher it and they take it to homeless shelters and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
Was Sean a good guy when you were with the Clique, or is he a better guy now?
He was a good guy then, but I mean, he was passionate. He was the first guy, only guy I've ever seen tell Vince, "F you, F you,"
Yeah.
and Vince not say you're done. Fuck you, Vince. And how funny was it at the Hall of Fame when Hunter did the googly eye thing and he did the big nose thing?
That was great.
Because I remember, I love you, Sean, but there was times when I was talking to a kid and I said, what's with Sean's eye? And he said, I don't know, I think it's from looking through the scope all the time, like he was on all the time.
He wasn't cross-eyed.
I said,
before,
I don't
right?
think it was that. And then I said, like, which eye do you look in? So then, because we're all not talking about it, but it's obvious.
No one wanted to say anything.
I thought it was so funny when they just came out with it,
You're pretty funny.
like Triple H wearing the googly eyes and he wore the big nose thing, and I thought their segment was really entertaining.
All right, so we're going to get you out of here. NWO for the Hall of Fame?
Well, Vince is really loyal to Hulk, and he should be, because without Hulk, there would be nothing. But Hulk got big heat on himself that lingers. So Vince is being real slick about it. They send him to Saudi Arabia where they don't really care about that kind of stuff, and they're like behind the times. Mm-hmm. They were asking for Yokozuna, Bam Bam Bigelow. They didn't even know they were dead.
Yeah, sure.
And so they used him there. They used him I think, excellently at Mania, where he came out with Alexa Bliss. Get that little pop, get that rub from her, she's over, then bounce. Don't go all the way down the aisle where people might go, wait a minute, and then before you know, boom, in and out, yay, boom, out you go.
Gotcha.
To me, NWO Hall of Fame, next year it's in Tampa. Hulk is governor of Florida. So if there's ever a market that's going to be favorable to him,
This could be it.
anytime soon, to me it'd be there.
Good for you.
And they already made a bunch of 2-time Hall of Famers. They did a bunch of guys this year.
Yeah.
Like Flair was the only one. Now Shawn, Booker T, a couple guys. So, because there's no way he's going to honor the NWO because he didn't create it.
One last question, you're out the door. You regret not having the World Heavyweight title?
People always ask me about that. And to me, I never have been a mark for myself. Like, I always thought, yeah, but if you look at whatever pay-per-view you're talking about, I was usually involved in some other capacity, tag match, U.S. thing, something. I always was featured. I never was a mark about the belt. I never thought about it until now people bring it up, like, man, you should have had the belt. You and Roddy Piper, the two guys, should have the belt. I'm thinking, I never really thought about it, and I don't think Roddy did either because
I think about it every day. It annoys the crap out of me. Go on.
I don't know. I just think I'm happy for the run I had. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so we want to thank you for joining us and taking your time. It's been our pleasure.
Thank you.
I will disagree that we are pretty good looking. And,
What?
You know, I'm sorry about that.
It's
But
good,
anyway,
good thing it's radio. you got the face and body for radio, bro.
Damn, man, I'll tell you.
Getting murdered over here.
Boy, oh boy.
that's what
Once again, I
happens.
want to thank the great Scott Hall.
Thank you,
for
guys.
joining Monty and Nefaro. Tune in tomorrow when we have Billy Jack Haynes and Disco Inferno in studio.
Sweet.
All right,
Are
we'll
they
see
working
you.
for Eric Sims then, right?
They are. You like Eric, huh?
I can put